It's true. There's a whole lot of uncomfortable moments in running, but then there are so many moments where we're out on the road, our mind is clear, and our hearts are just so full of love and happiness. And that's real too, and it makes everything worthwhile.
This is Running for Real, the podcast for runners who know that for every runner's high, there are just as many lows. All those just missed PRs, easy runs that feel hard, injury blues, and more. Each week, we'll talk to running, health, and wellness experts about their highs, lows, and best advice to build our confidence. Running for Real is about being honest, being brave, and most of all, not feeling alone. And now here's our host, whose favorite ice cream flavor is cake batter, Tina Muir.
Hello, my friends. Thank you so much for joining me for the Running for Real podcast. I am so excited that you are here. It truly means the world to me that you are joining me today for the brand new Running for Real podcast. So you're probably wondering, well, what is Running for Real and how do you know if it's for you? Well, I want to see if any of this resonates with you because there's a few great ways you can tell. And really, it comes down to Running for Real is a community of runners at every level who, well, keep it real. We know that behind every one of our glorious personal bests we post about, there are plenty of those personal, let's say, not so bests, just missed PRs, easy runs that felt hard, those sidelining injuries, moments where we compare ourselves to others and beat ourselves up, panic about sleep and sickness and so much more. And that doesn't even mention the embarrassing falls and those bodily mishaps with fluids. And we really do mean all of them. You know, runners know these things happen, but we never really talk about it, even though we know we should. So I wanted Running for Real to be a place where we can explore it, embrace it, share it, and get better from it. A place where we can remind ourselves and each other that, yeah, we're runners, but we're also so much more than runners. And it's true. There's a whole lot of uncomfortable moments in running, but then there are so many moments where we're out on the road, our mind is clear, our legs are feeling strong, and our hearts are just so full of love and happiness. And that's real too. And it makes everything worthwhile. So if that sounds like you, you're in the right place. And I'm so excited to get to know you more. Each week, I'm going to be interviewing various people within the running world, you know, influencers, legends, professionals, scientists, sports psychologists, and of course, lots of everyday inspiring people who will encourage us all to be our best. So I hope you're going to join me in this new venture and share this podcast with your friends, especially if they're fans of my former podcast, Run to the Top. I would love to continue to build this community and support you as you chase down your running goals and dreams. As you know, or many of you know, depending on when you're listening to this, I guess, if you're listening to this down the road, welcome and thank you for joining. But if you are listening to this anytime around when we launch, you will know that I have recently stepped away from running myself. And, you know, a lot of people thought, oh, is she done with running? But I'm not done with the running world. I'm done with my running for the time being anyway. But I still care about running. I still want to be involved in the world, involved in the culture. So I really want to help you with your running goals and your running dreams. So don't think that I'm kind of stepping away. This is me saying I am definitely not. So today's episode is going to be kind of like a mini episode. I'm just going to share a little about me and my story. If you already know this or you're not interested in this, feel free to skip ahead to the next episodes with guests. There are 3 being released today. And we will then be going one a week every Friday from now on. So I would love it if you would subscribe using iTunes or whatever channel you use to make sure that they come directly to your phone or to your iPad or however you listen every Friday. If you don't want to subscribe, that's absolutely fine. But yeah, remember to check out every Friday or subscribe to my email list and I will send you those. So episode 2 is going to be Matt Fitzgerald. He has a resume far too long to mention, but he is the author of several books on a range of topics many of you would have heard of, from mental training, racing weight. His latest one is called The Endurance Diet, and everyone loves Matt. Like, if you don't know Matt after this interview, you will. He's just a great guy. Episode 3 is going to be James Dunn of Kinetic Revolution, and James has impressed me for years with what he's been able to set up to help runners stay injury-free. His program, Bulletproof Runners, has changed so many lives. And if you don't already, you better watch this guy because he is onto something special. Episode 4 is going to be Sindra Kampoff, who is a sports psychologist who changed my life when I was in college after I heard her talk one night. She's done so much for the running world, and she's here to share her advice with you too. I'm not going to tell you any more of the coming episodes. You can just tune in to find out every Friday, as I mentioned, but I hope you will enjoy them as much as I had fun recording them. And I am just wanting to say right now that I will have a video showing you how to subscribe. I know I mentioned that a few minutes ago. I should have said that when I actually mentioned about subscribing, but I will have a video showing you exactly how to subscribe on the show notes for this page, which can be found at tinamuir.com/subscribe. Okay, so what next? I don't know where I should begin, really. I usually give a bio. Whenever people ask me for kind of a bit of detail about me, I usually say, well, I'm an elite runner for Saucony. I have PRs of 16:08 in the 5K, 33:24 in the 10K, 1:13 in the half marathon, and 2:36 in the marathon. I'm the former community manager and podcast host for Runners Connect. And my proudest moment work-wise was growing the Run to the Top podcast from 10,000 downloads a month to 150,000 downloads a month. I am also a freelance writer, and I blog or write my blogging stories, kind of sharing my training at tinamuir.com. I pride myself on being real. That's probably one of the biggest things I would say. And that's why the word real became in the title of my business, because even though I'm an elite, I've always thought that there's nothing wrong with being vulnerable and sharing your struggles or kind of being real with other people. So that's one of my biggest strengths, I would say. And as I mentioned a few minutes ago, I shouldn't really be giving that bio anymore, because right now I'm actually taking a break from running. And you might be wondering, well, why are you taking a break from running if you're an elite runner? Like, can you really afford that? And actually, no. I mean, I was training for the Gold Coast Marathon in July. I was signed up to pace the London Marathon to run a group through 2:28 through the halfway mark. I had all these things lined up, but I was just really struggling with my running. And I wrote this down in a blog post, which went live probably about 10 days ago when this goes live. And it just went crazy. It just blew up all over the internet. And I don't know if it was just that people were surprised that I was kind of leaving running when I'm, I guess, considered at the peak of my career, or if it was the other part of my blog post, which I'll mention in a minute. But yeah, I've decided to step away. I would rather focus on my health for a while. I am starting to think about my husband, Steve, and I. We do want to start a family, and my body is not currently in a place where I can have a family. So, for me, having a family has always been my greatest goal. That's always a thing I've wanted to do more than anything. And I did achieve my number one greatest running goal, which was to represent Great Britain in a world championship. I ran that last year in the World Half Marathon Championships. So I kind of did that, and I was proud of my PRs. I still had times I wanted to run, but I had done enough to where I considered myself, good enough to kind of set myself a happy, like I did what I could. And, I decided that I wanted to focus on starting a family, focus on my career, and just doing some other things. And the other part of the blog post is that I was always ashamed to admit, but I finally decided that I don't want to be ashamed anymore. I don't want to be hiding this like a big secret that I haven't had a period in 9 years. Now, that is by no means healthy. I know that. And I've kind of ignored it all these years. People kind of say, oh, it's just because you're running, and doctors chalked it up to, oh, it's just you're running. And so I kind of just let it be. But I knew in the back of my mind that wasn't okay. And I started to, over the last 2 or 3 years, started to seek out specialists, because I knew it wasn't okay. I knew it wasn't normal. All these specialists, all these doctors I saw said, you're fine. You just need to stop running. And then I saw nutritionists, I saw consultants, and each of them said, okay, it's not a case of calories for you. It's not a case of body fat. It's just the intensity of the training. And when I think back, it did pretty much stop. For the first time when I did increase my intensity, it wasn't so much weight. I was quite a lot heavier back then. It was the intensity of the training. But either way, long story short, I have decided to step away from running myself. I would like to go back. I do intend on going back. But while I wasn't having any joy in running, I just felt very burnt out emotionally. I'd been training continuously for 14 years. And I just felt like I needed a break. So I haven't run, and I don't know when I will next run again, but I'm finding joy in other areas. And as I said earlier, my focus is still on the running world, and I want to help you with your running now. So that's one of the reasons I created Running for Real. So just a little more of a backstory for me. I did start running when I was 14. As I mentioned, that's 14 years ago. I am 28 right now. I started as a cross-country runner for my school. I actually hid in the bathrooms for the tryouts because I had no interest in being on the cross-country team. But then I actually kind of worked my way up my cross-country classes in PE. And once I got good enough, I was kind of I don't want to say forced onto the cross-country team, but strongly encouraged to join the cross-country team. And then once I did join, I kind of realized that I actually enjoyed it. I loved kind of chasing down a goal, trying to get better each week, and I did. And eventually it got to the point to where I wanted a coach to kind of work with me, and I met a great guy called Brad Plummer, and he really he improved me a lot, and I really started to do some great things. I went from 222nd at Nationals in England to 40th the following year through Brad. But he was great because he didn't push me too hard. I mean, you hear of that a lot with teenagers or, runners that are great when they're kids. They get to 18 and they're so burned out, or they have no interest in running, or their bodies are just broken. But I'm so thankful Brad didn't push me too far, because it meant that I could, I had more to give. So then after a short stint in California, which I did after I graduated high school, I went there for a year, lived in amazing Aliso Viejo in Orange County, which was beautiful. Met some amazing people there. But I had the opportunity to go to Ferris State University in Michigan, and I completed my bachelor's degree there, ended up as a 5-time All-American. 11-time All-American. Don't know where I got 5. I guess 5 years maybe. 11-time All-American, and I had 5 school records. I was really proud of what I was able to achieve there. I then graduated and decided to do my MBA at LaSalle, where I worked as an assistant coach for the LaSalle Explorers in the cross-country and track team. And I also tried to continue pursuing my own professional running career. And that is where I kind of started working with Saucony and absolutely fell in love with Saucony. I'm such a big Saucony fan. And, that was where I really got to know them, and they supported me even being an international runner. In 2014, I think, my husband, Stephen, he wasn't my husband at the time, my boyfriend at the time, Steve I moved to Kentucky. He works as the cross-country and track coach at Moorhead State. And we got married in August 2015. I was proud to have 25 people from England come over, and it was a wonderful day. I really enjoyed it, and created lots of great memories. A few more little things about me. I've always loved making friends, building relationships, and I think that's why I loved my job at Runners Connect. Community manager meant that I got to spend my day building friendships with people. And now I get to build this new chapter with you, and I'm so excited to get to know anyone who is interested in kind of talking. You can always email me, tina@tinamuir.com. I'd love to hear from you. So what are we going to be talking about on this podcast? Well, as I mentioned, I'm going to be interviewing a lot of influencers and just various people within the running world who can give you tips and tricks. But I also kind of wanted to do quite a lot on approaching the untold stories of running. So, the dark side of social media, that thing where you're scrolling through your Instagram feed, and all you're seeing is how great everyone's run is going, how wonderful everyone is feeling. And it's so disheartening because all you see is this great stuff. And, life is good. We're so lucky with what we have, but it doesn't mean that it doesn't help you not feel great about yourself. Like, let's say you've run a big PR and you're so proud of yourself. You put in all the time, all the energy, all the work, and then you go to upload your photo online, and then you see that someone else has run 10 minutes faster than you on an easy run, or someone else has run 30 minutes faster than you. And it just completely makes you feel like you didn't do enough and you're not good enough. And I'm kind of sick of that. I'm kind of sick of just, running has so many ups and downs. It has so many funny moments. I mean, there's all kinds of little runner struggles that non-runners don't understand. And I thought it was time to kind of bring those out and talk about it. So some of the things you might hear a lot about on this podcast are, the mental side of running, confidence, body image, amenorrhea, female issues, running safety, taking the pressure off, and struggles, of which I have had a lot. And I don't mind sharing those with you when the time is right. So I'm also going to be asking my guests to share a running for real moment. There will be a moment they will share that is kind of like, as I mentioned, one of the, funny, embarrassing, just a moment to kind of show that they're human, because a lot of them are going to be, if they're an elite runner, you might think that they're completely, invincible, but actually they're not. And the guests so far have been great at sharing those moments. So I really think that's going to help kind of build a connection with them. I'm also going to ask them about a high moment that they've had and why it meant so much to them. What they would tell themselves on the start line. So what they do when they're in the starting area, getting ready to go, how they kind of pump themselves up, or do they pump themselves up? And finally, I will ask them for a nutrition tip or something unique about what they eat that people might be interested to hear about. So for me, I guess to answer those questions myself, I talked about my running for real moment on Marathon Training Academy recently, but for those of you who missed it, the first time I broke tape to win a race at the Army 10 mile, as I was coming down the straightaway, I was about to cross the finish line, and for about half a second, I had a panic about what am I going to do with my hands? And it's such a funny thing to think about. And it's something you would never consider like worrying about. But for like a split second, I thought to myself, do I raise my hands up in the air? Do I raise them up to the sides? Do I make fists? Do I like flex my arms? And it just was such a funny moment, because that's something most people would never share. But it was kind of something that went through my mind. And, we're so self-conscious, and knowing that all these eyes were going to be on me, it was a little bit like scary. But the funny thing is, by the time this had gone through my mind, I was closing in too close on the finish, and kind of instinct took over, and I don't even remember what I did. I just crossed, and it was an amazing moment. That was such a great moment. But anyway, my high moment, I have mentioned it already, running for Great Britain in the World Half Marathon Championships. That goal had literally been my dream since I first started running. I always had said one day I was going to run for Great Britain, and I'd used it as motivation so many days. So that was a real special moment for me. And I actually have a picture of it. I can see it right now from where I'm sitting. It was just one of the highlights of my life. So that was a really great moment. What do I tell myself on the start line? I usually just say to myself, I just want to have a good race, and I just want to cross the finish line smiling, because I find if I put too much pressure, I want to run a certain time, I want to do a certain thing, that's when I get stressed and kind of don't run as well as I should, because I'm focusing on the wrong thing. So for me, I find saying, I just want to have a good race, I just want to smile as I'm crossing the finish. I mean, that's all you can really do, and that kind of works for me. Finally, a nutrition tip. You will be hearing quite a few of those as time goes on, because I like to share little tidbits. But for those who don't know, one of my favorite things to have all the time, I have this at least once a week, is to have a sweet potato with almond butter. And I know that sounds weird, but I'm telling you guys, if you haven't tried it yet, try it. It will change your world. I love it. But it's great to have it as my pre-race meal, because that means I can enjoy my dinner. I can enjoy my breakfast. Okay, so each week I'm going to have you hear a random fact about me. You probably heard it in the intro today, but as you're going to hear each week, there will be something random that you will learn. And if that resonates with you, make sure you let me know, because I just thought there'd be something fun to do, and, a way to kind of connect a little bit more, and maybe give us something to kind of get to know one another with. So I would love for you to connect with me. You can find me on Facebook through my athlete page, Tina Muir, or the Running for Real page. There's both of those are pages. And I also have a private Facebook group, which is where the Running for Real community is really sitting. So if you want to find that, you can go to tinamuir.com/episode 1. And I will be able to send you a direct link to that group so you can join it. You can also find me on Twitter at Tina Muir, on Instagram at Tina Muir 88. And I should say, I guess, my name is spelt TinaMuir, as I didn't clarify that, and my accent might be a little different to what you're used to. Finally, you can email me, tina@tinamuir.com. Oh, and I also do have a YouTube channel, so you should try and find me there, because I'm starting to put videos up with all kinds of little helper videos, or kind of get to know me, or running tip videos and strength training videos. So make sure you check that out and subscribe to that, because I am adding a lot to that. And I look forward to seeing you on there. So guys, thank you so much for tuning in today. I really appreciate you joining me, and I can't wait to hear what you think. If you did enjoy this podcast, please consider giving it a review. It would mean so much to me. I mean, obviously this is episode 1, so maybe wait for a few more episodes, but I would love to hear what you think. You can always email me with any feedback or any guest suggestions, tina@tinamuir.com. I hope you enjoyed this, and talk to you soon.
Thanks for listening to the Running for Real podcast. Be sure to check out tinamuir.com for show notes and even more helpful running information.